Morning everyone. This is Dr. Nida Ahmed from the Department of Oral Surgery. Today I'll be continuing my class on demonstration of forceps used for the maxillary and extraction of maxillary and mandibular teeth. Last class we discussed about the instrument used for the extraction of maxillary teeth. We discussed the maxillary forceps. In today's class we'll be seeing about mandibular forceps. Okay. So last class we saw a set of maxillary and mandibular instruments, and we basically saw how to differentiate between your mandibular forceps and maxillary forceps. As everyone remembers, last class we saw that the mandibular forceps, the blade is usually perpendicular to the handle, whereas in your maxillary instruments it is always parallel. So that is how you differentiate between your maxillary and mandibular instruments. Now getting to the mandibular instruments. The first instrument is my mandibular anterior forceps. As you can see here, it has slender beaks. It is used for the extraction of mandibular, central incisors, lateral and canines. As you can appreciate here, the beaks are completely closed. There is no gap between the two beaks. This helps us to differentiate between mandibular anterior forceps and mandibular premolar forceps. As you can see here, this is mandibular premolar forceps. You can see this instrument also has slender beaks, but however, the beaks have gap in between them. Can you see this? Can you appreciate, everyone? Similarly, I'm just keeping this so that you can differentiate. Okay, mandibular anterior forceps and premolar both look similar to each other, both have slender beaks, but however anterior forceps does not have any gap in between, whereas a premolar forceps has gap between the two beaks. So premolar forceps is used for the extraction of mandibular premolars. Okay. So once we're done with the mandibular anterior and premolar forceps, let's get to mandibular molar forceps. Okay, this is mandibular molar forceps. You can appreciate that it has two beaks. You can see here. Okay, it has two beaks. This is used for the extraction of mandibular molars. When we were seeing our maxillary instruments, we saw that maxillary forceps for the molar we used two instruments, one for the left and one for the right, but in mandible it is not so. We use only one mandibular forceps for the right and the left quadrant. So here you don't have to differentiate while selecting whether it's for the third or the fourth quadrant. There is only one mandibular molar forceps. Now coming to mandibular cow-horn forceps. Last class when I was telling about cow-horn, I was telling cow-horn forceps are usually used for grossly decayed tooth. So similar here also, this cow-horn, mandibular cow-horn forceps is used for the extraction of grossly decayed tooth. Okay. In mandible also there is only one cow horn. We do not have separate cow horns for the third and the fourth quadrant. Only one cow horn is used for the third and the fourth quadrant. When I compare my mandibular forceps, molar forceps and cow horn, you can see this. The molar forceps have beaks, okay, whereas my cow horn forceps does not have any. It is more rounded as compared to the molar forceps. Okay, you all appreciate that. So my molar forceps is used when I have enough crown structure. Okay, but however, if I have a grossly decayed tooth, then I use my mandibular cow horn forceps so that I can engage the furcation area and I can extract the tooth with ease. Now coming to mandibular third molar forceps. Okay. When we were talking about maxilla also, we had a similar maxillary third molar forceps. It had a much slender handle so that we can engage the third molar. Here, as you can appreciate, this is your mandibular third molar forceps. As you can see here, the beaks are facing downwards. Can you see that? Can you appreciate, everyone? The beaks are facing downwards. So that brings us to the end of our mandibular forceps. I will just recap it again. This is my mandibular anterior forceps, which is used for the extraction of my central, lateral and canines. It has slender beaks with no gap between the beaks. The second instrument is my mandibular premolar forceps. This also has slender beaks, but however, it has gap between the two beaks. This is used for the extraction of my mandibular premolars. This is my mandibular molar forceps, which is used for the extraction of first and second molar. Whenever I have a grossly decayed molar, I use a cow horn forceps, and this is used specially for mandibular third molar forceps, although also called as a American pattern forceps. I will just be talking briefly about today periosteal elevator, Austin's retractor and my needle holder. Next class will be on exclusively on demonstration of elevators. So this is a periosteal elevator. Okay. This also similarly has a handle, a blade and a shank. But as you can see here, the periosteal elevator has two blades, one on this side and the other on this side. It has two blades. It has one blunt blade and it has one sharp. Okay, you can differentiate that. It has one side blunt and one side sharp. It has two blades because the blunt one is usually used for the reflection of the mucoperiosteal flap. Whenever we are extracting, it is basically used for the reflection of the mucoperiosteal flap, or it is used for the reflection of the mucosa in and around so that we have enough space for our instruments. Okay, so this is the blunt end, so because it does not end up tearing the flap. Okay, the sharp end is sometimes used to wedge or to remove the root pieces. The principle on which it works is wedge principle. You can wedge it between the tooth and the interdental bone and you can wedge out the root pieces. So that is why the sharp blade. So this is my periosteal elevator. Next, coming to my retractor. This is called as a Austin's retractor. You can see it is roughly L-shaped. Okay, one side is the blunt side and the other one is slightly elevated side. This is usually used for retraction. Once we reflect a flap in a third molar surgery or any other open method. Next instrument is needle holder. Okay, you can see here it has a lock where I can lock the instrument. When I open the instrument, you can see it has serrations here. You can appreciate that. It has serrations. Okay. This needle holder is basically used, okay, for holding the needle when I'm suturing. Okay, so this is my needle. I'm not going to get into details. This will be dealt with when we are doing suturing. Okay, so this is my needle. Okay, this is my suture material and this is the eye of the needle. Okay, so my needle holder is always held at the distance 1/4 from the eye of the needle. This is how I'm going to hold my needle and this is how I lock. Once I lock, it is ready to be used for suturing. So today we have basically seen set of mandibular forceps used, periosteal elevator, Austin's retractor, a needle holder. Next class will be exclusively on elevators. So we will see about the different principles used in elevators and how we will use the different elevators for the luxation of the teeth before we actually extract them.